temple of God. What are
Give us access to our money.
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at these stories first. PDP signals reset, launches reforms against 2027, and on politics, Labour Party fixed February 28th convention unveils timetable. ADC suspends RAF Wusu Rufai 13 orders, and on National Assembly, Reps alleges discrepancies in gazetted past tax laws. And Reps amend, still on amendment, Reps amend Electoral Act, boost INEC authority. On protest, Labour demands action, arrest of sponsors of insecurity. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advertisements, news, events coverage and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Apple TV, Niger TV, and Infastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Chizi Nyomasila. Chizi Nyomasila is a regular on Open Conversation. He is the leader, ICU Group, and also a political analyst. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Dorisha.
And on to the story. People's Democratic Party has begun a major political reset ahead of the 2027 general elections, pledging reconciliation, internal reforms, and a renewed grassroots push to re-emerge as a credible alternative to the ruling APC. This was disclosed at the 83rd meeting of the party's Board of Trustees in Abuja. BOT Chairman Senator Adolphus Wabara congratulated the party on its successful national convention and endorsed the new National Working Committee, urging unity and warning that a divided opposition cannot address Nigeria's economic hardship, insecurity, and governance challenges. He said early signs under the new leadership showed renewed momentum and restored confidence nationwide. Responding, PDP National Chairman Kabiru Turake SAN vowed an end to impunity and imposition, stressing that the party was rebuilding trust through consultations with elders, stakeholders, and grassroots members. He said the PDP was preparing for off-cycle elections in Ekiti and Osun as part of its broader strategy to reclaim power in 2027. Chizi, what do you make of this story?
Well, you know, when you talk about party chairman, especially that has to do with the PDP, you be careful because you don't know which party chairman is speaking.
It's factional.
Because it's factional.
It's factional. You know, Turaki led.
Yes, I tell you that for me, the BOT is supposed to be the soul of the party, you know, and the conscience of the party. And I think the BOT is taking side already, except that, of course, in going for peace, also sometimes you use war. That's why they call it peacekeeping. You know, when people have to send missions, it's war, but you want to achieve peace. But I can tell you that I'm thinking that they didn't do it early enough. They would have done that, you know, going around if they mean well for the party. But you see, I've always advocated or said when I said something about this, my little fear. It may not have had any fact, you know, to hold. But I can tell you that it looks like the two divides are working for the incumbent. Because, you know...
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? Yes, of course.
When you say the incumbents, do you mean the ruling party?
The ruling party, the Tinubu-led government. You know, right. Why I say so is, sometimes, if you find out that your house is getting divided and the souls of your party is getting dissolved on a daily basis, governors are leaving, just all of a sudden, the 6 states of the South is gone to the APC, whether by coalition or whatever, and then you begin to see that just a little bit of reference back. You know what happened to PDP in 2015 was just about 5 governors, you know, going against the party. It affected the party. Then you also saw that in PDP in 2023 also that happened. That repeated itself, and then you are seeing that kind of thing happen again, and this is colossal because a whole lot of, and whether you like it or yes, PDP is no longer holding Lagos. PDP is not holding Kano. PDP is not holding Port Harcourt. Where are they looking at for?
PDP is not. Is PDP holding any South state?
No. Why I mentioned...
You're talking about the states with the largest voters.
Voters and political consciousness. It's not just voters. Okay. You know, it's one thing to have numbers. It's another thing to have the impact and the will to do something.
Yes.
Somehow, Rivers State politics affects a whole lot of states, including the North. I can tell you that. And so when you begin to see them veer to another place, what you would have done if you love the party is to sit back and begin to see how, because whether you agree with me or not, even though the governors are leaving, the case of Akwa Ibom is one ready for such example. Even though the governor is leaving, you may be shocked that there are persons, remnants in that state. But when those remnants begin to see that you are also going towards their fear, which is a division, instead of coming to reconcile, instead of coming to pretentiously, even if your conventions weren't accepted by the other faction, there are certain actions you just don't have to take immediately. One would have seen where they go to people like, okay, let me use the FCT minister, coming from Rivers that I am, for instance, one would have seen the national chairman now Turaki moving to him to say, what is happening? Let's do this thing, because you want to win. But where you begin to see them also, obviously, those who quote unquote may have been pretending to be even in PDP, you are obviously coming to say, no, let's remove them. When you have not exhausted dialogue, it looks to me that you want people to be discouraged. And from that day on, we now have two strong factional PDP. Strict. Two strong factional PDP. And the worst of this other factional PDP, the other one, is that they have regional backing. Meaning in South, South, and Southeast. That is very dangerous for the party. So if you are the one, you are holding the conscience of the party, I think that what you would have done, X, it means that you've been compromised, or you want to take the other aspect of peace, is to say let's go out strict for war. The question is, who is that person standing for PDP in Rivers State? Who is that person standing for PDP in Bayelsa? Who is that one standing for PDP in Delta? And who is that name? We have names. Who are those names? When have you even come? All this while you said, do we have somebody in this zone that is in that your National Working Committee or that is strong there? What have you done to move around if you're not working? So it looks to me that, this group called the PDP, the Tinubu group, I can tell you that this is the first time a politician is being president. And when a politician is a president, everything politics becomes political. And so the man knows what to do. So it looks like the two people will be working for him unknowingly to them. That kind of thing. And that's very dangerous. Because I've not seen them come to sit down to take there is something my people call it's if you're an old man, you are the dustbin, that people can just pour things, and all of that. Not though, they also said that when the people come with very hot charcoal, you have to also pour it out as dustbin. But you must exhaust that and now begin to go frontier, in nature. This is a senior advocate of Nigeria, Amin Turaki, who participated in the election that INEC weren't there. Participated in an election that the court said no. You
mean the National Convention?
The National Convention. That the court said no. It looks like it's not just something I wonder, Larisha, is.
But they are saying that a court said yes.
Which court?
Your state high court said yes.
No.
Even though the James Omotosho high court and the Peter Lefo, federal, both of them are federal high courts.
Yes.
By Justice James Omotosho and Peter Lefo said no.
Yes.
Justice Akintola of Oyo State High Court said yes.
Now the question.
So now they are holding on to Justice Akintola's court order that they should go ahead with the convention.
Now, please advise me. Enlighten me more. Which of them came first?
Justice James Omotosho came first.
Came first, and the one that you gave by the other high court is not a court of appeal. After a high court pronouncement, it can be another high court.
Now, I think you should even be looking at a different perspective, even though I agree with what you're saying. But then, it's very important to note that they ran to Oyo State High Court. I mean, the Turaki led, or not that Damagum led, because that was Damagum. Sure. They ran to a state high court, in this instance, Oyo State. And it is very important to note that INEC, a federal commission, was part of that suit.
Yes.
Can you take a federal commission, federal agency, or any federal institution to a state high court? I think the federal high courts have exclusive reserve, yes?
Yeah, sure.
So if the federal high courts have exclusive reserve, and part of it are federal institutions and all that, what business does a state high court have stopping a convention or entertaining a suit? Let me not even say convention. Entertaining a suit with INEC as respondent, and then giving an order even to INEC, which is a federal commission.
You see, Larisha, all of that you have said why I have not even dived into that is the fact that the court itself didn't have to seek. Assuming without considering that they have all of this right, that the fact that the same court has given a judgment, it is only the Court of Appeal. So I'm not even looking at whether they even have
the jurisdiction
or not. And what I am missing
is that they don't have business
sitting on that. And that the senior advocate of Nigeria, that's where I'm coming as Turaki is. Or I don't know. That the senior advocate of Nigeria will allow himself to be ridiculed to that extent, where you know that these things cannot work and then you are just going to take it. That's why I said, somehow, you can't just trust people. When politics or quest for name or whatever is involved, people jettison whatever, whatever profession they. And I think that we are in a solid state where even the NBA is not biting enough. Or they're not even saying anything. They are not looking at all of those things. Because there are certain things that you know that as a lawyer, that this shouldn't happen, that if it happens, I'm not only going to be punished for offending as a citizen, I'm also going to be punished professionally. So it looks like the NBA is no longer there. Even though it's an association, anybody can decide to be, but the NBA should speak on that. And what they would have run to is the Court of Appeal. As soon as they go to Court of Appeal and Court of Appeal catches that, they can hold their convention. Then again, if you want to look at it from the political angle, if you remove all the legal angles, and then you've been able to go and you want to now, you say, okay, let me get the power, no matter how sealed that power is, first, or shadow it is. Let me now get the power and now begin to go and do some things. Then you now begin to go to beg, and all of that. Let me tell you one, the story may be stupid, it may not be very positive, but it has something to do. A young man, I won't say it, even if you arrest me, I won't come and tell him. A young man kidnapped a lady. A young man kidnapped a lady. And then kept the lady in somewhere. And they never touched this lady, nothing. For more than 2 weeks, they didn't ask for anything. The young man was just giving the lady. And let's say, please release me. He said, just agree to marry me. Please. I'm not trying to do this for anything. He has done the illegal thing and the very stupid thing, right? But he's appealing to conscience. I know this is what I did, but I just did it because I didn't have an occasion to talk to you. That's what I'm saying. You're doing the wrong thing. You know that. Then go and appeal to people. Let's see that you truly want to win election, because a party exists to win election, and no chairman just wants his to be called former chairman or whatever. You want to win an election. So except that all of you are working for the same game that you're accusing others. If that is the case, then I rest my case. But again, you can also say, okay, fine, let us go fire for fire. Then we don't know who will win.
And which is where they are at.
And this is where they are at right now. So let's see. Right. As if they are all honest about it. If they are honest about even the fire. Because you can be fighting just because you want to kill the party further.
And in this instance, you do not think it's for the interest of the party?
I know it's not for the interest of the party.
You mean both factions?
No, both factions, they are not.
All right, very well. But then the BOT, we have factional BOT in PDP. We have the Wabara-led POT, and we have the Ohabonwa-led POT. So in this instance, the Wabara-led POT, which was the first BOT, in the first instance, is commending the National Convention. And it's also, throwing their weight behind the NWC that came out as a result of that national convention. Why do you think this will take PDP? In the first instance, when this crisis even started, a lot of Nigerians had high hopes that perhaps the BOT will help, mend fences. Just like you said, they are the soul of the party. But BOT, on the other hand, took sides from the one.
Now, you see, when you said, the word I just wanted to correct is saying, when you said this is the first BOT. No, there's no first and second BOT. They are all BOT members. They are legal, BOT members. What just happened is that certain factions went and took side with this other one. Right. The other one, so they are legal. It's not that they have now become.
They are factionalized.
They are factionalized in the BOT, and that is not the reason for establishment of a BOT. A BOT is supposed to be an unbiased empire to look at those kind of crises.
Would you say BOT, the PDP BOT failed in their responsibility?
They are working through the system. The problem is when BOT of the PDP, when we had people like Solomon La, the Alex Ekwemes of the BOT then, they were BOT that brought the party. They were the BOT that you respected, that the governors came through them, right? But this BOT we are seeing that came through the governors. So it's your guy. Where your guy goes, that's where you're going.
Right.
That's the problem we're having. It's not like a BOT. Normally, sometimes you see that most of these persons who are called BOT are not people who want to take positions in government because they are past certain level, and so they are members of the BOT. So certain things are recalled to them. You know, I remember when someone like Ake, they were BOT members. When they come back to this place and they talk in Rivers State, the PDP will listen. Right? Because they were the one who said, no, you are going to be here, you are going to be there. But right now, this BOT we're seeing, they are like an extended shadow of the eights.
More like stooges and minions.
I wish when you are a stooge, you're a stooge because you have a statue, so you want to now just dance to. They are not. They are appointed to do what they are doing. So it's not like they represent them.
That's why they don't have the capacity to be neutral and
be neutral. The same thing that happened to River State elders, that we do not have elders again. When you know, why do you have elders? Elders that are going to the governor to look for money every month, that you pay stipends, that lives on your stipends, that wants to, not elders that will sit down and say, you stand up and you sit down there. It's like when a father loses in his house, you know. Imagine a father in a house and then you have two sons and then you are siding one or you're not siding one. Not because you are siding the truth, but because this one has money, all of that, because you need that person to give you money. But if you have a father that can at least, in spite of your billion, that can feed himself without you, the father will tell you, stop that. That's the problem.
All right, very well. Moving forward, Labour Party has fixed its national convention for February 28, 2026, as part of the preparations for the 2027 general elections. Acting National Chairman, Senator Nenadi Osman, disclosed this in a timetable submitted to INEC, outlining activities aimed at repositioning and strengthening the party. According to the schedule, Labour Party has launched a nationwide membership revalidation and registration exercise tagged Labour Party Connect 10 Million Nigerians, running from December 17, 2025 to January 10, 2026. This will be followed by ward, local government, state and zonal congresses between January 13 and January 31, 2026. Speaking in Abuja, Osman said most of the party's internal challenges had been resolved by the courts, assuring members of renewed unity and focus. She urged Nigerians to join the party, pledging a credible, people-driven alternative, while party leaders projected at least 10 million new registrations ahead of 2027. Chizi, what is your take on this?
You know, who sang this song, Which Way Nigeria? I think it was Sonny Okoso or something.
Yes.
You know, he said, which way Nigeria I love to go. He said, I love my fatherland, but which way? Where are we going? You can still see that. Okay, look at all of this. If you're practical politicians, of course you know this is faction again. This is faction.
Because I will be anticipating that Julius Abure will have a comeback for this.
They will have to also come back. They will have a comeback for it, and they will also announce their own national convention. And then even look at their national conventions. Look at the three agenda they have taken at once. They were going to reach 10 million Nigerians, you know, between
December 17 and January 13.
Probably January 12, because the 13th is the world election. And then by January 13, you are going to hold a world election. Between January 13 and January 31, you're going to hold world election. I want to emphasize this.
Yes.
World election, and each of the world election, there are three processes before a world election. A world election, you need to buy a form for world elections. You need to conduct screening, and then you need to conduct the World Congress itself. Is that correct? So in each of those, you have 3 days. Assuming that you want to do this today, publication 1, 2, 3 days before you can do all of that. And between 17 days, 13th to 31st, you're going to hold world election, local government election. You're going to hold state, zonal, and national. Five elections in 17 days. Even the APC cannot achieve that. PDP, as strong as they are, can't achieve that. You know what? I'm not just an analyst. I'm a practical politician. I'm in it. I've told people that one of the things I pride myself is I've gone through the classroom of theoretical politics into this very harsh arena of practical politics. So if you call somebody a good politician, I should be a professional politician. I know what it takes, and I've been in party politics. I have been in the soul of party politics. I know what party politics is. If you say you're going to do party revalidation or new registration, whether it's going to be online, you need to have an app, isn't it? Meaning that all the 10 million Nigerians can access your app today, in today Nigeria. And then, of course, you have to print something, they have to snap all of that, and then you're reaching them. Social media is very simple. The Bible says that the people shall come to your light, but who will come to your rising is the kings. What are you talking about? You're just coming here to do social media politicking. We go to the village. After this program, I'm going to the village. It's politics we are doing. And so that's what we do on a daily basis. The question is, whom are you reaching? And again, they want to just raise that. So how would you now conduct that? How much budget do you have to do all of that? Except that they have also said, that's why I said, you want to fight a system that you believe is rot, a system that you believe is misfunctional, it's a system that you believe that the governance structure is not too good. You want to correct it. You are also failing in the process, in your own internal system. You can't even do it right. I don't know whether you understand. You can't even do it right. I didn't include that after election, we'll have election petition. You give also a day in case there is a by-election in between those elections. The only way that can happen is that you sit in a place and write the names of the people you wanted in conventions and write the names of. So the same thing we're looking at. There's no good process. You can see all of that. Then again, have they finally reconciled? Have we seen a reconciliation of the party that you are now coming to announce for? Because if there is peace, now I tell people that either if you don't have issues in your club, association, or house, certain procedure can be jumped. You know, you can just.
She's saying that the issues in Labour Party has been resolved by the courts.
By the courts. No, yes. You don't know how. Do you know why this Labour Party oath is very funny? Everybody, including the Julius Agres-led faction,
they are still quoting the same court judgment.
Quoting the same court judgment. That means they will have to go back to the Supreme Court for interpretation, and that is what I expected Osman to do. He don't need anything. He just to go to the court. He don't need much days. So please interpret the judgment.
Make it clearer.
Make it clearer. You ask them. Maybe you can stimulate that by asking certain questions that the judges will just answer. Oh, this is like this. This is like this. This is like this. But when you put a judgment where everybody's claiming, that means that at the end of it, you will not go back. Have you failed and have you wasted resources and time? You will not go back to say, I brought in candidate and this person brings in candidate, and then you say, who are we recognizing? Because INEC is not supposed to interpret your judgment for you. So whom are we recognizing? And then you won't have anybody. So now we know that we have one, if they continue on this pedestrian to the electoral time, and of course you know what is coming, it looks to me that what is coming in the National Assembly, people are pushing for election to come way ahead the swearing-in ceremony, so that issues of litigations would have been done. That means that election may come November, December next year. So it looks to me that if that is anything to go by, I'm going by where they are going. The Labour Party will not be on the ballot system. -1 for Tinubu. Since we begin to talk here, we begin to -2 parties, so PDP, Labour Party. When we bring it another party, we -3. It looks like Tinubu will be adopted as sole candidate. So if you just win in APC, you have won.
Isn't that the fear of a lot of politicians, that Nigeria is tilting towards a one-party system?
If you have that fear, the question is, remember that ADC was just on that floor there when people came in and then they brought in it. We have up to 18 political parties. We have all to 18 political parties. But I tell you that if you have done a research on all of this, I don't want to insult any political party because I haven't been registered in a political party. I don't want to say them as small parties. But of course, you can categorize them. Those other parties, the undemocratic tendency in them is far higher than what you see in APC and PDP. Quote me. Quote me. It's just like one man business trying to do whatever they want to do. So the fear shouldn't be that it's for you to go back to your own place. Those who are complaining are those who should do their own house right. Simple.
All right. Very well. African Democratic Congress has suspended former national chairman, Chief Raf Okewosu, Baralabe Rufai, and 13 other members over alleged anti-party activities. The decision was taken by the National Working Committee, led by Honorable Nafiu Bala Gombe, at its regular meeting in Abuja. According to the party, the affected members were accused of engaging in activities that undermined unity and disrupted party operations, including collaborating with coalition groups without authorization. The 6-month suspension, approved under Article 15A of the ADC Constitution, also nullified all unauthorized ward, local government and state congresses purportedly organized in the party's name. The National Working Committee also announced new appointments into key party positions and constituted a 4-member committee to conduct the Osun State Governorship primary. Gombe said all official party activities would only be communicated through authorized channels, assuring members that the party's NEC would soon release a legitimate timetable for congresses. Cheesy.
Yes.
We have finished discussing PDP and Labour Party. Now it appears that ADC is next on the line for factionalization. It's already existing, but probably they now want to concretize the faction and make it obvious. What is your take on this?
Okay, from time I have always distanced myself with for want of a correct word, with that coup that happened in ADC, for me, because that coup was a coup led by David Mark and his people that came and hijacked ADC and said they were the ADC schools. I'm still wondering how ADC can make it through that channel. This is the right person, whether you like it or yes. For now, I don't know what the court will say. I don't know what other channels will say. But that people said, we are meeting to go into, we're a coalition. We want to go into a political party. And the day they came to announce that they were going into a political party, they came and said, we are members of this party today. So from today, we are members of this family. From today, I am the head of the family. I am not a husband to this wife. The children are mine. Because you are not a member of the family. Adopted member that have not been accepted. So you brought yourself, you gave yourself and removed everybody that was. That means that the party weren't existing. The persons that couldn't even register their own political party, couldn't follow through the registration of their own political party. They came to a new political party, took over, organized coup. And I said, I'm saying it here, and David Mark understands coup. He understands how coup are organized in Nigeria, and they came and took over ADC. And that's what's happening. And Raf accepted that. So what these people are doing is to say, look, we own the party. They're just trying to take up their party. I keep saying, it is either something is, let me use the word spiritually wrong, or these people are still working for the president. I'm talking about the David Mark-led people. No. You know why I say so? Okay. I keep saying this because there are persons who have been in power, experienced. In fact, the other day, I was saying to one of your sister stations, I said, we need to cancel, when you call for job interview, cancel the word experience. Because it looks to me like experience is no longer working. I can't see the experience work. I can see people who have been governor, ministers, senators, and House of Reps who've gone to school, fantastic school, speak fantastic English, look fantastic. We come to a place and not go through a little process. Little process. Little process. Look at what is happening here in APC. They are there, yet the governors are going back to their ward and their unit to register. Meaning that we recognize those. Do you think that in APC, given the history, that we had in Rivers State, especially, that somebody like Tedo Kocha, that Sim would have gone to Tedo Kocha to collect the registration card? But because it's not about whether I love you or not, it's the fact that this is the recognized organ. Yes. And that organ, go and take it first. When you now take it first, and there is a congress in front, you now go and politic and put in your people. So I think that this group of persons, I mean the coalition group, they are powerful enough to ask the ADC to organize their congress. Very powerful enough to do that. But they have to enter first. But all of a sudden, some of them weren't even members of the ADC when they started dictating who will be their state chairman, who will be that. They weren't even members of the APC. They have not even collected form. I didn't see them collect their form. Some of them haven't even resigned from their own original political parties before they started wading influence and deciding who becomes what in ADC. So does that happen? But what should have happened is that we will see the chairman of ADC welcoming them into the ADC, and I asked them to go back to their respective unit to register, and then a national executive committee of the party meets to now release a timetable for convention. It is in that timetable for convention that they will use their weight and experience to be able to take over the party. But they just went all of a sudden, and yet these are the persons that is saying, oh, this guy is a dictator, he is doing that to the National Assembly, he is doing that in a party, meaning that they are already telling us what they will do. I am telling you that what they are telling us is that assuming that ADC wins election now, God forbid, assuming that they win election in Nigeria, not in Rivers State, that one it doesn't exist in Rivers State. Assuming that they win election in Nigeria, like I said, because I'm only going to speak within the confine of where I know. I'm not saying what I'm reading. Where I know is in Rivers State, where there is no ADC. It is you that was telling me the other day there is ADC in one local government. I don't even understand. When you hear 10 persons or 20 persons saying ADC and you think there is ADC. ADC does not exist. Party does not exist on newspaper. It does not exist even on the face of the television. We don't sit on this studio and have party. Party exists in the unit and the ward, and we are grassrooters. There's a word like that. We are there. We know what is happening. And I also know the pressure on me now. I know the pressure on me because they needed that. But I cannot build something on nothing. I can't even go to a place where I know that it's not legal. And so that I will walk what I did in 2019, walk around Rivers State and walk around Rivers State, and at the end of the election, you don't even know who to vote for. That's what's going to happen to this. But if there's an ADC that will enter, it's to go to this person and register, because that's the legal ADC. That's the one that they will allow to register political party. You will see parties win, and so if you go here, but if I wasn't from Rivers State, I would have done that. You know why? If I knew that they had population here, they can do anything. What I would have just done is go register with this young man, and then go collect my Guba form, does clearing, and wait until they take their name, the name of their own people, and go and win election, and I will be sworn in. I know that. I know that because they don't exist. Something might change tomorrow, but for today, they don't exist.
Right, very well.
Another party gone. Oh.
That is ADC, another party gone. So now what it means is that Tinubu, if we are to go by your submission, Tinubu might be uncontested in 2020.
No,
the presidency might be uncontested.
There are 18 political parties now.
We know that there are 18.
They will contest.
We also have mushroom political parties.
I don't see them as mushroom. After all, in all of Nigeria's elections, there are some presidential aspirants that are here when results are being counted. So they will still be there.
All right. Interesting time ahead. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, We will continue. Do not go away. I get a choice. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. A member of the House of Representatives, Abdul Samad Dasuki, has alleged discrepancies between the tax reform laws passed by the National Assembly and the versions published in the official government gazette. Dasuki raised the issue as a matter of privilege during plenary, warning that the differences pose serious constitutional concerns. The lawmaker says the copies of the gazetted laws obtained from the Ministry of Information did not reflect what lawmakers debated, harmonized, and approved on the floor of the House. He urged the leadership to compare the past version of the gazetted copy, describing the situation as a breach of legislative integrity and due process. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, acknowledged the concern and assured lawmakers that appropriate action will be taken. The tax reform bills were passed by the National Assembly earlier in the year and signed into law by President Bola Tinubu in June, after initial resistance from northern governors. Chizi, what is your take on this development?
You know, I laugh. I was waiting for this tax law act, you know, by the National Assembly. Now, the first thing is to understand what it means to gazette a law. A gazetted law is a law passed, submitted by any either from the executive or from even individuals, but passed by the National Assembly, to answer the National Assembly, and then assented to by the President. Or in the case the President refuses assent, reading by the National Assembly. And that is what is supposed to be gazetted. Now, when you begin to hear people say alleged, that thank God by your reader, he said it's alleged. When you hear people say alleged, I am not here to defend whether that is true or not. But what I want to say is, if it is alleged, then we wait for the actions of the Speaker. Thank God that the fantastic rep moved that at the floor of the House, you know, calling the Speaker to the Speaker's attention to that look, what we pass is not the same thing that's been gazetted. And so we're waiting for their report, because they will set up a committee to investigate that and see what did we pass. That again should tell the National Assembly that when you also pass a law assented, you should also make it known to the public,
yes,
so that the public will know
exactly
the detailed law that you passed and that which we assented. But of course, again, you also know that between the passage of the law and the signing of the law into, the act into law by the President, there are some also discussions, and those discussions must also be agreed with. They have to agree with it, and so that agreed version is something that all of us should know
the final
beforehand, so that
draft.
We are not waiting for a member of the Assembly or member of the National Assembly to tell us whether there is discrepancies or not. All of us will say, this is what we are passing, because you are representing us. You know, you are not representing yourself. The National Assembly shouldn't be detached from the people. That's why the slogan of the National Assembly said, my people says. They don't use me, my people. So they are supposed to, that is where the constituency meeting, consultation meeting is lacking in this country. I have not, as a person, I have somebody who represents me. And by the grace of God, I'm a conscious citizen of this country. And I have not attended any meeting where the assembly member, they called me to come and discuss what is of the national issue. They called any of us to say, this is what is going on. Tax law, if you notice a whole lot of information going on back and forth about the tax law, is because from the representative, they have failed. Even from the government. Like I've said here, times that number, that national regulation agencies, Ministry of Information and other ministries, they're not working. They are allowing either opposition or people who may not have detailed information about that to begin to inform us. They are supposed to come up and say, this is the law and this is what it takes. This is the meaning. You must explain this thing to the dialect of the host people, because whether Dick or Harry, educated or non-educated, will pay tax, isn't it? And so they are. So these discrepancies, if there's a discrepancies, because for me it's alleged, until that is proven. If it is proven, then some of us will begin to jump at. Why would you now have to gazette something different from what the people passed, because National Assembly is representing the people. And again, if it's what the people passed, the House of Reps, for a law, a tax law, the Speaker is in charge. And so the Speaker has said, no, we will need to go back to look at that tax law and see whether what we are saying is correct. If what he's saying is correct, all of us will support him. To say, why are you giving us another version? If you have to amend any version, you have to take it back to the National Assembly. It means again that that is not law. That will not be law. Because you know why that is dangerous? That is dangerous because the gazetted law is the reference point of the court, it is the reference point of every tax agencies and individuals. That's where you reference. Because we may not know about the papers, that they worked on. This is what we have. The other one is perception. So when they now go back to say, this is not what we passed, it will be for us to push the National Assembly to say, come up openly to tell us whether this is what you passed or not. And what if that's not what you passed, what did you pass? I also want to ask him, because if it is signed into law, if you have approved it, it is no longer a private document, it is our own document. Publish what you passed. Let us also go back to that information portal to see what they gave to us and look at the discrepancies and see whether there's A written here and then there's B written in the other place. Then we will not know whose agencies are we going to hold. Now, I am not a government apologist per se. I am a member of the APC. That does not mean that I should speak against myself, because in tax, they are not going to say, Chizzy, because you are a member of the APC, don't pay tax. Everybody will pay tax. But what I always do is I want to follow this stage by stage, so I'm not arguing on perception. I want to be factual. I want to know that this is right, this thing the guy alleged is correct. Or if it's not correct, what is the original version? Now, if he wants to be an activist, and thank God that the Speaker handled it in a very mature way, maybe he would have just published his own, but the Speaker haven't said we're looking into it. Let's see. So I think that he will also present what he has from the Ministry of Information and then the tax parastatal, and then present the approved list, the passed law. If there are discrepancies, then Nigeria should know. Because it's not only going to be on the tax law, then it means that we should not start periscoping other laws that have been that are in Gazette. So we need to look at that. You know why I said that? I don't want to quote a particular assembly. It's in Rivers State Assembly. I met with a member of the assembly, about 4 or 5 years ago. I met with a member of the assembly, and I wanted to do something. I have a business friend of mine who wanted to invest in Rivers State, so I wanted to know what they passed, in their budget. And I asked him, "What did you pass? What is it there?" He said he doesn't know, and he's a member of the assembly that passed the law and didn't know the laws that he has passed. So it was me who went to take it from the official gazette to give to them. To give to him to say, this is what is there. He didn't even know that before we can chase it. To even let him know that he has a right to chase that, we have to show him. So you see that, thank God for a man like this who can not only, yes, the Dasuki, who can not only pass the law and relax after all,
but followed up on it.
Followed up on the law, and maybe followed up on the law and say, okay, this is the gazette, because he wanted to have the gazette because what he has in his hand cannot be said to be law. So he wanted to have the gazette to be a law. And so he looked at it and said, no, these are discrepancies. Let me tell you something that will shock you. I don't know of now, but we carried all the research on our budget. You'll be shocked that 80% of our budget, states and federal government, are speaking on television, so it's not a hidden thing, that 80% of our budgets are what I call repetition and incremental. It's just by percentage. Not that they sit down and, people don't sit down. You will see items in the budget repeat itself in 10 years. We want to buy television for the office of the SSG. In 2020, 2021, we want to buy television, 15,000. 2022, 16,000. So the question is, what should have come here is maintenance of the television, or replacement of the lost one, or a purchase of the new one. But the same one, all he just do is, guy,
they repeat the same thing.
Just
and
put just
increase the amount.
And just increase the amount. Just percentage allocation. We are going to get. Last year we had an XYZ budget amount because of the XYZ money that's supposed to be coming to the state. Reason is simple, and that is why I like and I love Tinubu. You can kill me for it. Why do I love Tinubu? Tinubu is daring, especially in the first tenor, daring to do the things that other governments seem sacred and political not to touch. And what are those things? The removal of the oil subsidy is something you don't want to think about. Anybody who is a politician, quote unquote, who wants to go back to the second tenor shouldn't talk about that, because Nigeria will begin to scream. The tax, bringing of tax, especially now, what you would have done is shift it till after election and then bring up the tax. No, he's bringing it out. What is he doing? So that there will be what I call responsibility and accountability. The citizen will wake up to know that we pay tax. Let me tell you something. You see, before, you could be passing on the road and you begin to see money drop 1,000 somehow. People just drop. Even those who do sacrifice when we were growing up in secondary school, I went to one North secondary school. So in the morning we'll go up to one of the junction, because we will see people who come to sacrifice, Coca-Cola, yam, goat, and all of that, and say, today they are sacrificing to the gods, and now we are representative of the gods, so we take the thing to our hostel to kill. Right now, if you move there, you won't even see coins, because the economy is biting, so people will not want to put that kind of money. So when you are paying, when you are paying, that's the difference between us. The man who is in US or UK will begin to be responsible, begin to ask for accountability, because you are contributing money. In union fight every day because they contribute money. But here we don't fight because we don't contribute. Let us be responsible first. And when we are responsible, then we now begin to ask for money. And the reason why those things happen, again, is because we are not creative. The government is not creating money. Our creativity is, especially in these our local areas here, our creativity is we have allocation coming. Any idiot can allocate resources, but creating and mobilizing resources to do your work is the work of a creative leader. So when you begin to see people pay, people begin to ask questions. That's why I was laughing. Let me tell the word that you were speaking in the background. You were telling me about this, that people will begin to ask questions. I was looking at you because I know that that's the essence of a good government, who wants people to begin to ask questions in their money, so that you will not begin to ask your reps why he is not coming back, why he is collecting money to come back Friday and Monday to address us here back in Abuja.
So one would say not even much of the reps who are active or inactive, but then more of politicians and political appointees and political elected officials, governors, the president, ministers and all of that. We are coming to a time in this country. Nigerians, they usually say Nigerians are very patient. Nigerians have been patient probably because a lot of responsibility does not fall on Nigerians, in the sense that most times the government generates its funding from oil, because our economy is oil-based, right? But now, Nigerians still pay taxes for those of us that do 9 to 5, right? And some companies, they are tax compliant, they do pay taxes. But now, from what I am seeing, I stand to be corrected. My salary is being taxed, right? I pay taxes through my salary. But apparently, apart from my salary,
all your activities are being taxed.
Every single thing is being taxed right now. And that will also extend to other Nigerians, right? So it takes away the oil money dependency. So Nigerians, you cannot tax Nigerians for every single thing and come and say, oh, if money's personal money now, not my salary, entering into my account are not properly described, there is no proper description or narration of what that money is for. The government might want to tax it. The government might, well, they are welcome to do so. You know why? They are most welcome to do so. It is no longer going to be business as usual because they will, see, the National Assembly, a time will come, National Assembly will be too scared to say that they are taking furniture allowance.
No.
We are coming to that point where an appointed minister will be accused of taking as little as 1 million naira, and Nigeria will literally want to burn down because people will not just call to that person to account. People will tell you it's their personal money. It is my money that you're taking.
Let me take you to the
point. The reaction will be very, very different. What the government has been getting all this while, it's going to be different from what the Nigerians they have been ruling all this while. Is going to be very different from the Nigerians from 2026.
That is what we're saying.
So they should also get ready.
No. Why don't you also look at it from the positive angle? That the government will become more responsive and responsible. They will become more accountable. They will now know that you are going there to watch your investment as a Nigerian. Because what is happening now is in global practice. That's what they do all over the world. And so because you know that that's your investment, you watch over your investment. The man that you are electing there, you're no longer electing him as a boss. You're electing him as a servant going to watch your investment. And so now that both sides, why are we only waking up the Nigerian who will be more aware and not wake up the representatives? I'm talking about all the representatives who should also know that we are now coming to watch ourselves. We should also know that will change our voting pattern because we now look at the person who has credibility to be able to manage our taxes that we're paying, our contributions. Right. Because associations, nuclear associations are more managed than the public things. Look at private enterprises. Look at all of that. They manage themselves because they know that they are spending money. They're watching over their money. They cross lines on each kobo you are going to spend. So it means that what we are now doing is to run a private, what I mean by private, is a business kind of government that we should now look at. And luckily, this is happening in election year, where you now begin to look, should we now vote this person? Should we now look at this person? This person is becoming to all of that. So we look at those who can manage our resources. My prayer has always been that one day we just wake up and there's no oil. That's my prayer. Lorisha, someone will come and knock you, knowing how brilliant and intelligent you are, and say, Lorisha, come and contest the election. But as long as we have money, free money coming from somewhere, any idiot can be anything.
And that's why Nigerians are, probably they don't care that much.
I don't care.
So right now, Nigerians are going to care.
They are going to care.
I think that it's a wake up. This is.
That's why I'm clapping for Tinubu.
It's a wake up.
Waking us up for every positive thing.
And not forgetting that also. Well, I don't have much to say.
Because he has confidence that he's going to be, he's accountable. That he's going to do the right.
It's not about him being accountable. Like his ministers accountable.
No, see, let me tell you why.
And political appointees
no, let me tell you something. We have always accused.
Hopefully, moving forward, eagles will not be landing in the National Assembly and prayers will not be sent to males. Well,
let me say this.
Interesting times.
Let me say this before we close. People should actually blame a leader, because the body language of the leader is what allows everything. When Buhari came in the first place, when they thought Buhari was the Buhari they knew, the first time Buhari came, when they thought that it was Buhari we knew in 1983, as soon as Buhari was elected, immediately people started shifting ground, trying to. But when they now watch and find out, oh no,
it was business as
usual, then they opened up. So the leaders' body language matters a lot.
All right, thank you so much, Chizi, for coming in. It's a pleasure having you today. And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. I remain Laurentia Ugu. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.